Good evening, guys. It is Wednesday. Today is it the 24th. Oh my God. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. Yours truly, Drake Swift, Tori Savage Kitty, Alex Sportsmouth. We're here with Elena. She is a civil rights activist, a professor, a lot of different things. I know are you originally from Southwest Detroit?
No, I'm originally from Detroit, but I actually grew up on the east side, and I've been around Southwest since around 1975.
Oh, there's a connection there.
I'm an East Sider as well. What area on the East Side?
Over near Warren and Connor.
Okay, I was at 6th and Gratiot, right behind Houston Whittier, right behind the fire department.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you're way younger.
My whole family's from the East Side, so our roots run deep. My mother went to Denby. My uncles all went to Finney.
Oh yeah.
So it runs deep over there.
Yeah, my brother went to Finney, and I went to mostly Catholic schools.
So up
Same.
on the east side, how different was it? You said you in 1975. How old were you in 1975? Southwest Detroit. How different was that for you?
It was kind of different, but it wasn't really that different because I spent a lot of time in Corktown in Southwest Detroit because of my grandparents.
Okay.
So I definitely had a connection. And then I went to Chicano Boricua Studies at Wayne State, and I moved to Corktown then, and I pretty much most of all these years, except for one venture back when I was married. I was on the east side again for a while, but I've been living in my house in Corktown for 27 years.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow.
7 years in Corktown. So you bought the house before it became Yuppieville, before the house was just.
I'm telling you, and I'll say this with all honesty, the last thing I ever wanted to do in my life was live around rich people.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I ever would have wanted.
I'm a huge fan already.
I agree.
I
agree.
It
Me
is
and Alex,
pettiness.
Me and Alex went to Holy Trinity. We all both went to St. Vincent. So my grandmother lived on Wabash.
Altar boys.
Yeah, altar boys.
Yeah. I went to Assumption Grotto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and St. Jude. So.
Oh wow. Oh.
Yeah, St. Raymond, all of those, of the connection. Yeah.
Yep. All the diocesan. But my grandmother actually lived with us when I was growing up, and she was a cook at St. Raymond's Rectory.
Oh, wow.
I spent some time around there. It wasn't far from on the east side. Well, this is true actually of the whole city, but many years ago, before I'll call it the white flight. Before white flight, the neighborhoods were pretty much designated by parishes, by Catholic parishes. And white flight took the Catholics and the parishes out of the realm. So the Catholic Church has had a great deal of responsibility in the destruction of Detroit education, a lot. And that's another whole, it's a big, important discussion. But now that they're gentrifying, now that gentrification is here and white people are coming back, they're not about to put their kids in Detroit public schools. So guess what's happening? Dan Gilbert gave millions of dollars to U of D High School, and they can add on there. There's a new addition to Holy Trinity High School because the white people want somewhere to put their kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
So
that is fact.
I don't mean to cut you off, Dree, but that's like not shocking to me, but like I drove past. I went to Holy Trinity, most Holy Trinity. So like every now and then, like when my oldest daughter is 21, and then my youngest is 17.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I grew up in Coreytown, Rose Parks Boulevard. So like I drive past her every now and then, and I would get out and take pictures of like oh my God, this school is still standing. They shut down St. Vincent, the middle school I went to. And so like I just wanted to go by there and show my daughter like what grade school I went to, and my whole point is I seen the add-on. I seen when that was just getting going. And so to know why now is
that's the background for it. That's the context.
So I don't need to go down that rabbit hole. So when I was in Holy Trinity, I was 4th grade and wasn't the smartest kid in the class, and I wasn't the dumbest. But you were saying that the Catholic school ruined the education
by leaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep.
I was going to say that
amongst other things,
obviously. And I don't mean to say the Catholic Church was corrupted at that time, but they kept a portion of kids back from going from 4th to middle school.
If you couldn't read.
Yeah.
If you couldn't read. Yep.
Pretty basic, right?
Well, they tried to do that with my son when they found out he was the youngest in his class. They tried to hold him back for 8th grade, and it all had to do with money, and they wanted him to play football, and they wanted
what school was it?
So he went to St. Anne's, but he was also going at that time we were browsing schools. You know, we were looking at high schools. We were looking, are we going to go to U of D? Are we going to go to Bishop Foley? Are we going to stay in the city? Are we, we were going back and forth. Are we going to go to De La Salle? And they had a coach who was being pretty, he was shady, and he was taking a kickback for sending kids to De La Salle or to U of D.
So he wasn't just the head coach.
Yeah, and he ended up a few years after my son left, which we did not keep him back. He's brilliant. Like, there was no reason to keep him back. But afterwards, we found out. And if you didn't go with one of these schools, man, they were on your head. They were, you owe $40. You didn't complete your volunteer time. And I'm talking like I worked at every concession. I did, hair and makeup for all the plays. I sold all the raffle tickets. I did it all. And when my son decided not to go to one of those schools, they sent me a judgment for like $40 that I didn't complete my volunteer time, and that they were going to send a police officer to my home. Wow. I couldn't believe it. So, and at that point I was like, so I called the archdiocese and really, put my foot down, because that's just ridiculous to strong arm these children. That's when I really realized, I had known it, but I never had it actually happen to us, our family, and to really see what they, the treatment they give people if you don't stay under their thumb. So it was pretty interesting, to say the least.
So we're gonna dive right in. So you said you moved to Southwest Detroit in 1975. What made you want to get involved in the community?
Well, I actually grew up. My parents were always active, and so I kind of grew up active. And also, I went to Chicano Boricua Studies, and this is really, I was at Wayne State, and we had classes, and our professors we had all Chicano professors, right, which was really radical. And we would be in class, and then they would have somebody from the community come in and talk to us and say, for example, they're not hiring enough Latinos, Mexicans, whatever you want to call it. Right. At the city of Detroit, at such and such department, we need you to go to that meeting. You need to go to the Detroit Schools board meetings because they're fighting us on bilingual education. You need to go to the library because they don't have enough Spanish language publications. So they would tell us where to go, and we would go. We would get on the bus and go to these meetings. And if it wasn't for people in the community leaders at that time, the majority of the leadership of the community did not have college degrees. So they really put a lot of pressure on us to do what was needed to do and supported us becoming educated. So we were really the first wave of Chicanos and Boricuas also that received college degrees en masse. As a big group. There is always going to be people that, like somebody went to U of M or somebody went to Wayne or somebody, had a degree, but when there would be 40 of us in a group, right, at one time, it was really it was a time. It was a time.
Yeah. It was
that was huge. That was huge. And you know what? We actually talked, I don't know what the topic was on one of our podcasts. that's what I was trying to explain to my co-host right here. That's what the name was. I could not remember it. But I went to Holy Redeemer. Yes, I went to Holy Redeemer. So I don't know if you know any Costello, Gloria Costello. I mean,
Oh yeah.
So okay, so her daughter and I was at Redeemer. I was like, I was like 2 years away from graduating, maybe 3, and they took us down there.
Oh
And
yeah.
were already introducing us to people. But I sat down. I was like 14, 15 years old, and they were trying to sink this into our head,
Right.
and at that time,
Right.
and that was huge. That was gargantuan when that happened. So that's what it was called.
Yep. The
So-
program
so
is
kind of,
there.
When you were going to these
Oh,
meetings,
really? It's
Amazing.
still there.
Yep.
when you were
That's
going to
great.
meetings and meeting with people in the city of Detroit, was that your, because I know that you want to talk about the corruption in the city of Detroit. So was that your first taste of like, you know what, there's corruption here in the city?
No, I wouldn't say that it was corruption that I was encountering then. Not to say that there wasn't corruption, but we were part of breaking down barriers. And so it wasn't, I wouldn't say that it was like people pocketing money or directing things away. It was more like demanding to be hired, demanding to be placed in positions. And even now, I'll fast forward to 2021, and I just put in a request to be appointed to the Detroit Public Library Board. There has never been a Latino on Detroit Public Library Board. It doesn't pay me. I mean, it doesn't. It's a volunteer position, and it's appointed
surprising.
to the school board. And every year,
Wow.
they apply. And so, and it's gotten to be kind of like a standing joke, but we've never had a Latino on the
Right.
library. We have never had a Latino on the Wayne County Commission. And if you look at what these positions do, because there really isn't enough education of what difference it would make. I'll give you an example. Enrique, your mother's really involved in the battle to get a federal judge on the bench, to get a Latino federal judge on the bench. So I'm gonna talk here a minute about representation, because there's racism, there's discrimination, and there's like people that want to you want to be the first, or you want to be. But here's an example of a federal judge on the bench whose name is Marianne Batani. And 3-4 years ago, 5 Mexican men burned in a fire at the home of their employer in Novi.
Okay.
They were locked in the basement. He had them in a house, and they were locked in the basement, and the house caught fire. These men were between 17 and 23 years old. There were 5 of them, and they had been in the U.S. for about 6 months. And they worked at a Chinese restaurant, and the owner of the home was the owner of the restaurant. So he had them holed up in this house, but they lived in the basement of this nice house in Novi. Nobody knew they were there. They were like slaves in the basement. The house caught fire, and the owner of the restaurant came and saw that the house was on fire. When they were locked in the basement, they could not get out. It was locked.
Right.
The owner told the fire department that there was no one in the house. And the 5 men died.
Oh my gosh.
The judge simply gave him probation, and the only charge that he had was harboring illegals, and he was directly responsible for their deaths.
Yeah.
And if to me, we needed a Latino judge there.
Absolutely.
We needed a judge that would have had some heart for the people. And that I'll never forget hearing the sentence that Judge Batani, who was a Democrat, that gave to those to owners. They didn't give up a dime. They didn't have a fine. They didn't miss a day.
Wow.
And 5 people died at their hands. 5 mothers, 5 families lost their sons. because he locked them in the basement. And they were already like slaves to him. And then he just completely,
And he had the opportunity to tell the fire department that there's people that live in the basement. He didn't have to go into detail.
He had the opportunity to not
He
lock
just
the
had
door.
to say there's people in the basement, help them out.
Yep.
Yeah, he was absolutely responsible for their death. He may not have lit the fire, but he did not help save them, and that's just appalling. I agree.
A whole lot of crazy aspects.
I agree. There should have there's definitely a need for a Latino judge on the bench. That
to me, that's an example. I mean, I'm
absolutely.
I mean, we don't always get. You don't always get what you want in representation, but representation is important.
Huge.
Right.
So it's not always like everybody's going to be, the best representative we could have, but we do need to have people that identify with the issues. So that's something that, and the corruption that I wanted to talk about, though, is a different scale of corruption that nobody really thinks about. And I'm in the minutia of municipal life. Okay, so I pay attention to these kinds of things. I'll give you a couple examples. The owner of the Pistons, who got a huge tax abatement and got to be able to have his stadium built, and he didn't have to spend any money. He got everything laid out for him. The people from Detroit do not benefit. We do not benefit.
Nor did he have to know anything about the game of basketball. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. But okay. The owner, Gories, of the Pistons, not only got a huge tax abatement so that Detroiters do not benefit from the huge amount of money that he gets for having the Pistons there. He doesn't pay taxes to Detroit from the stadium, from the team.
Yeah, he don't even live here.
He also owns the contract from prison phones. So you know how expensive it is to call from
so
prison.
Expensive.
He gets all the profits from all the corrections, Wayne County, all the county jails and all the prisons in Michigan. And he's so rich and he doesn't have to pay any taxes. And there's a direct relationship. And this is the part that I want for people to sort of follow. Little Caesars Arena was built with tax captures that would have otherwise gone to Detroit Public Schools. So during the period of emergency management, Little Caesars Arena was able to make a deal with the state legislature and with all the county executive and the tax treasurer should have come to city council and said, you cannot do this deal. You cannot divert tax captures to Little Caesars Arena in perpetuity, meaning forever. They get 100% of the profit for the seats. Now, you guys probably don't remember Olympia Stadium, but you remember those seats. A portion of the ticket went to the taxes.
Okay.
So that all these people come into Detroit and go into these games, they spend all this money. Not one penny from Little Caesars Arena comes to Detroit Public Schools, comes to any taxes, and all the police are out there all the time. We pay for them to have all that police protection. They keep it completely cordoned off so that people only go into Little Caesars and leave. They spend all their money in there. They spend their money on the pizza and the beer and everything else. And they don't pay any taxes, but the taxes diverted away from our schools.
Wow.
The library.
None of that is beneficial to the city of Detroit.
And nobody knows this.
Wow.
Knows this. What do you think?
That is insane.
When you talk about Detroit is coming back, Detroit never left. White people are coming back. And when they come back, they don't just come back. They're able to
taking everything.
It's extractive.
Taking everything.
I have neighbors. I live on Leverett. There's these condos that they put up for $700,000 each. They used to be a regular apartment building on Leverett, a great big building, those townhouses. Each one sold for $700,000. The developer gets a 15-year tax abatement, which means what? No taxes for Detroit.
No taxes for
All this money comes in. We would have been better off if none of that development happened, because the regular taxes would have been going to pay for the schools and the libraries, lighting.
Yeah.
When you get these tax abatements, they divert money away. So who's paying taxes? I got to pay taxes, but Dan Gilbert doesn't have to pay taxes.
Right.
Or doesn't have to pay taxes, and these rich people that moved in here got a 15-year abatement.
So I got a question.
Wow.
This has been
mind blowing.
The Gordie Howe Bridge, is that another tax?
That, supposedly Canada paid for that.
A little bit different. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I read.
Yeah, but does any of that money come to the city of Detroit?
Of course not.
I don't know. I don't know. And I know that there's another span that Maroon is getting built, a second span. And, a lot of people really, I just have this to say. Maroon never closed any schools. Maroon never took the libraries and the schools away from us. And that's mainly, to me, the lifeblood of the city. Mm-hmm. Because people go in the libraries, the branches are closed. You go in there, that's where you go to apply for jobs online. Mm-hmm. Most people don't have a computer and internet at home.
Right.
Yeah.
The majority do not. So people would go in there and look for jobs. Now you can't even do that.
Yeah, they're all closed.
And Dan Gilbert has that cable, that rocket cable.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a $500 million. Okay, $500 million comes to Detroit to close the digital divide. Dan Gilbert got that money. Why did Dan Gilbert get that money? There's every single house in the city of Detroit could have had internet. Mm-hmm. But instead they give it to him so that he has his buildings that have high-speed internet, so that he has an advantage.
Free of cost.
Right. He's got a monopoly.
Yeah.
So
and I've read a lot of things about, like, I've read these stories about Tom Gores and all that, but I mean, I don't get into arguments with nobody about it, because as a sports fan, because they don't understand it, and I don't understand it to the full capacity myself.
Care.
So
no, they don't.
But that's why he would get criticized, because he's sitting there with his, $100,000 shirt on and just sitting there, and he doesn't know. Everybody knows in the city of Detroit, he has no idea how to run a basketball team, but he has all this money.
Well, there's such a disconnect from reality at that point that
I'm not surprised by nothing you're saying. Is my point.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Especially Dan Gilbert.
That's a whole lot to digest.
Yeah.
Especially
so this is the corruption that I'm talking about. It's corruption that's completely legal.
Right.
Because
legalized crime.
The laws. They wrote these laws. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, somebody mugs somebody outside of Little Caesars Arena, they're going to prison.
Right.
Where
they won't be able to call home.
Right. And if they do, it's going to
it goes to his pocket. Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
So that's
mind
blowing, but not surprising.
That's the battle that I'm having. And also, I started this little tiny. It's me, a 2-person organization called Detroit Free the Press. Detroit Free Press. Any information from them, so we call it Detroit Free the Press. So we're beginning to investigate and write articles and get the word out. But even doing that, nobody wants to read. So we're going to have to go out into the community, like with a bullhorn, and tell the news. So basically, that's what me and
I love it.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be starting doing. We did it before during this last election for mayor. They had no campaign signs. There was no commercials on TV to vote for this person or vote for that person. They kept it so completely silent because they did not want people to go to the polls, because they knew if they went to the polls, people would vote against Duggan. And Duggan did not want to have any attention to him at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they knew not to.
So I know that they're trying to do it in different states where there's only absentee ballots, or you vote virtually, basically kind of absentee ballots, that they don't have actually a turnout. Is Detroit trying to do that as well?
No, Detroit. The last thing we need is absentee voting because that's where our votes get stolen. And the city clerk, Janice Winfrey, she'll actually laugh at people and say, I know how much they're going to lose by and what time.
Oh, wow.
It's always in the absentee ballots. But the election was really interesting because the way they did it to keep turnout low this time, they literally kept people off the ballot. There's this one person in District 3 on the east side, over near 7 in Van Dyke area. District 3 is Scott Benson, and he's under investigation by the FBI, right?
Wow.
He had somebody running against him that would have beat him. But you know what? All of a sudden, he just gets a letter that says, you're disqualified. Somebody challenged you, and you're not on the ballot. And he did everything right.
Damn.
He did everything
Wow.
right. He went to court, and the judge said, oh, there's nothing I can do. So it's so corrupt all the way up. So there's no
Whew.
in the
same thing that happened with David, right? They said that
David, yeah, but David,
Yeah.
so many ballots.
You know what Duggan did? You know what Duggan did on that, and Raquel did. A lot of people won't like me saying this, but you know that's why I have so many friends.
Oh, you're hearing it here first.
Well, we like you. Go ahead and talk about it.
Okay, so Raquel Castaneda Lopez was the first Latina on Detroit City Council because they went to districts, right? Because it went from at-large voting to district voting, so she could get voted just in Southwest Detroit. So she served for 2 terms, and I have to say that for the whole time that I would say from 2018, I was calling for her to tell Gabe Leland to get off the council because he was convicted of taking bribes.
Wow.
He was staying on the council, still voting. And I kept on saying, why? And I was saying this to Raquel because she's my representative, right? But I was telling this to the whole city council. Every time I went to council meetings, and then when they went to Zoom, I would say, why aren't you calling for the resignation of Gabe Leland when you know that he's been taking bribes? You know what he was when they finally convicted him? They showed that he had sold his votes. So he sold his vote for the demolition contracts. He sold his vote for the towing contracts. So everybody that benefited from his vote screwed the people.
Right.
Yeah.
Huge things that we have to pay for now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you know, he supposedly snitched down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you snitch down, that means you're telling on the people that are below you, or you know, like they're not above you.
Right.
So he didn't snitch on Duggan, but they're looking for Duggan, right? In the meantime, he stays on the council 2 years after it's known that he's been convicted of bribery, and stays on. And I'm asking for Raquel to call for him to leave. She goes publicly with him everywhere.
Right.
And I'm saying, like, why isn't she calling for his resignation? Well, guess what? On the very last day of filing, meaning the deadline that when you cannot file to run for office, nobody can file. Raquel announces that she's not running for re-election. And that, to me, some people thought that it was just a hookup for her friend, that she said, this is who I want to be replacing me. Who does that? Who says, I'm not running for my seat?
I remember when that happened.
Reason why.
Yeah.
They don't give a reason why and then say, this is who I'd like to run.
Right.
So,
this is who I'm endorsing.
And then gave all this support to her. Rashida gives all this support to her. And David, for his part, had done everything he was supposed to do to be on the council.
Yeah, poor David.
To be on the ballot. And they tell him, they disqualify him. So Duggan was deciding who he wants to run for these seats. Scott Benson had no opposition. He's wanted by the FBI. He's under indictment. Now he ran unopposed, which was unfair. They simply kept a good person off the ballot. There was a good person running for city clerk. They disqualified him for no reason off the ballot.
Damn.
But what this does also is it demoralizes the people. And if there, let's say David That's not even a good comparison because at least there was somebody running, and then Hector Santiago ran, but nobody knew him. Nobody knew him.
When Raquel says she's not going to run and she gives, is that legal to give her all her signatures to Gabriela? Is that, or how does that work?
They simply denied that they did that. They simply denied it. Nobody saw Gabriela signing, getting all these signatures, but it would have been Raquel's to do. So they probably just left the name off it.
So from that perspective, is that, I know they denied it, but is that, are you able to do that or no?
No, you can't give somebody. You can't. She handed it off, and she could only do that because Duggan was in on that. Duggan came in and said that he endorsed her. He said it in the newspaper that he endorsed her.
Okay.
So Duggan wants to decide.
More of a hand.
Duggan needs his 5 votes. It was a total handoff. Yep.
Okay, so it was Duggan, so he wanted somebody that was going to be on his side. If somebody
he wanted a puppet. He wanted a puppet.
Somebody like a David or Hector, they might have not supported Duggan.
No.
Couldn't have had the vote that he needed.
David or Hector would have made waves. For sure.
Well,
he
didn't. Gabriela. I don't know her, so I don't know. Other than the fact that she came in to me through the back door, that to me tells a lot about a person, how they come in. So it was really unfair. It was really unfair in an election where there was such a need for transparency. So, and she had so much money. I got mailings every day. She had so much money. So, and I truly don't trust any candidates that got a lot of money because that means that they got corporate backing, and that means that they're voting against us.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, there it is. You said it.
Yeah. So we'll see how she's going to be. I don't know. But, one of the things that they say about if you got investigated or you were wearing a wire, they might tell you, you might not get in trouble. You might not go to jail, but they'll tell you to step down and you can't run for office anymore. So we'll see.
So is there anything else that you would like to talk about in the city of Detroit that's kind of bothering you?
The election system is really corrupt. The election system is terrible. And now that we have a Secretary of State is Jocelyn Benson, right? She's supposed to oversee elections in the state. And she was here to witness all this corruption that happened in this particular election for the mayor. And she didn't do anything. She did absolutely nothing. Now she's okay. So Detroit had a very low turnout rate, like less than 12% turned out to vote because they didn't let anybody know there was an election.
Right.
They put out the vote. But now, isn't Jocelyn Benson and Whitmer and Gilchrist and Dana Nessel going to want the vote next year? We're probably going to end up with Crazy Craig for governor.
Okay.
Because people aren't going to come out and vote.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
They're going to tell us to come out and vote now. And this is what Anthony Adams, who was my candidate for mayor, was saying. If you followed his Instagrams, he made reports every single day because the media buried the election. The mass media absolutely erased it. But Anthony Adams was saying the way that this election has been treated, almost as if it didn't exist, and these same people that were responsible are going to ask us for their vote next year.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Because the voter suppression is done by both Republicans and Democrats. Because these are all Democrats in charge of this state now. Not the legislature. It wasn't the legislature that suppressed the vote in Detroit. It was the Democratic leadership.
Wow.
Didn't know that. So I know another big topic for you that you like to talk about, or I know that you work on. you see it like a Rittenhouse that was all charges were dropped. And I know the justice system needs to be revamped. It needs to be someone need to take a look at it, because if it was a Latino or somebody that was brown or black, that wouldn't have been, those charges wouldn't have been dropped. And I know there's a lot of corruptions in the justice system in the city of Detroit, even in the state of Michigan. And I know you work to get people out of jail that are convicted unfairly.
Yeah. Well, not just unfairly, but what because I'm not talking about unfairly, but over sentenced for one thing, and that they would have gotten a much greater sentence than than they would have had they been white or rich.
Right.
But the other thing that I am working on more specifically is the juvenile lifers without parole. And
Wow.
Michigan has still got people who were convicted so you know what juvenile life without parole is? If you were convicted of a crime as an adult before you were actually an adult.
Right.
And then given a sentence of life without parole, you were sentenced as a child to die in prison.
Yeah.
And then the Supreme Court overturned that in the Miller case, Miller versus Arkansas case, when they said it took years and years and years for that to get through the courts, for them to say a child meaning a person who's under 18 years old, has not got the brain development to make decisions that will impact them for the rest of their lives. They don't have the brain capacity.
Yeah, they don't have the mentality to even put that together and to fathom the things that are going to continue to take place. Children live in the moment. They don't have that, that maturity to look years down the road.
Right. And that was what the court had finally ruled. And Michigan really took its time on giving. They have to give resentencing. So there's two people that I'm going to bring up who are juvenile lifers without parole. One is Efren Paredes, who you may have heard of. Efren Paredes has been in prison since he was 15 years old, and he's I think he's 49, and he's out of Berrien County, Benton Harbor area. And he's been in and waiting for a new sentence. And they gave him a new life sentence recently. So he's appealing that. The way in which the court ruled is they said that you can only give someone a life sentence again. You can't come back and resentence them based on their original crime. You're only giving them a new sentence. You're not putting them on trial for the thing that they did then. You have to give them a term of years. So the term of years that they're generally working with is 40 to 60 years, or 20 to 60 years. 20 to 60 years. Many of the people have already done 30 years. Barbara Hernandez is another one. She's out of Oakland County. She was sentenced. She's 49 years old now. She's been in since she was 16 years old. And we're very hopeful that she's going to be resentenced to a term and be paroled in the coming year.
So are these charges drug charges? Are these murder charges? Because
both of those were murder charges. Okay,
because I know the state of Michigan originally, the whole white boy Rick, if you got caught with so much, you basically were in jail for the rest of your life. You were not getting out. They would throw the book at you, and you would do hard time for drug offenses.
Yeah, those were the serious over sentencing cases that they've done. And the legislation that's in the House right now in Michigan is called Truth in Sentencing. So that, because the other thing that Michigan did was to do away with good time. So people were staying in prison for so long that you couldn't do, no matter what your behavior in prison was, it wouldn't give you good time. You couldn't get time off for good time.
It wouldn't help you at all.
So the justice system still needs to be, I know the whole needs to be revamped, but Michigan definitely.
Michigan has a lot of things. The other thing is if you're exonerated, which, if you're exonerated, it means that you were let out because you didn't commit the crime. Exonerated It's not
Right.
commuted, it's not commuted, it's exonerated. There's no money for you. You don't
Which
get
I
it.
just think is
It's
crazy,
crazy.
absolutely
After they've
insane.
stolen your life illegally.
So you're telling me
Absolutely.
if I went to prison for life, 30, 40 years,
And you're
and I didn't commit the crime and I got out, the state doesn't pay you
No,
or anything?
no. But if you committed a murder or committed a crime and you did all that time, when you come out, you get money from the state.
If you did the crime,
Yeah, because it's part of the,
Absolutely.
your rehabilitation.
Yeah, yep.
And yeah, they give you some money and they help
You have to
you.
be able to get an apartment. You have to
Yeah,
be able to
right. You can't just drop somebody off on the corner and think that
Right.
they're going to be able to do something that
Right.
they've been in prison for 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
That is
Or
that
even
is
10.
disgusting. I don't even know what other word to describe that. And you know, I just read an article and now I can't recall the name. It was just within a few days. There was a gentleman who I want to say 50 years he served, and he's being wrongly. Yes. I just read it like yesterday. And he's being exonerated. And I instantly thought, God, I hope he gets something.
Well,
Is there anywhere to sue? I mean, can they sue? Who do they sue? What do they do at that point?
Then that's the other thing too. This is another thing, a problem that if they are able to sue and get money, a person who spent their whole life in prison parts with their money real fast.
Yeah.
Because we have no
concept of how to manage it.
No, and there's all kinds of people that are going to be right next to them.
Yeah.
With their hand out. So that's been a real problem too, is people really getting shaken down when they get out because they have absolutely no skills.
Yeah, they have no streets. They got jail smarts, but they don't have any.
You know, they lose their money real fast. So that's been something that I have observed personally.
Wow.
With people that you get out of prison, you get all this money, and you got no sense. You know, you haven't gotten laid in 100 years. Oh my God.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. They find a couple hookers. They're ready to just drink and do all the things they haven't been able to do and all these extra temptations, and they get wrapped up with the wrong people. Especially, you got to think, if they're in prison for that long, most of them don't have children, or if they do, they're already grown or passed away. Their family members, a lot of them are already passed away, and it's a whole new generation. So they don't know anybody. They have nobody.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't know anybody. Well, so, I mean, thinking about, like, Efren Paredes has his family all around him, and he's got a huge support group
that's good,
that will be welcoming him, and that I get emails from them, and, you know, there's movies and documentaries about him and everything else. And then there's Barbara, who, you know, like, she's been languishing in prison all these years. And I'm actually hopeful that they're going to release her and she can come to stay with me.
Now, can you explain again? Because I was kind of lost there when you said they don't judge it, their release, those two you just spoke about. How do they judge it if they're not judging it on, how does that work again?
This is how it's supposed to work. And these judges really manipulate their positions to really put the person on trial again. And it's not a new trial, it's a resentencing. And it's sentencing, so you have to give a term of years and not life without parole.
Gotcha. So it's not a retrial, it's a resentencing.
No,
and they're basically coming at it like it's a retrial, and they're
and judging, and then if the family of the victim comes to court, and the judge is going to listen to the family of the victim, because those are people that can give campaign contributions and vote and get on social media. But the person in prison has nobody. They have absolutely nothing that they can defend themselves with against the system. So the judge is looking at, well, you know, am I going to listen to these people in the court with me, or am I going to listen to this person in the hole?
So now, and I look at it from both angles, because I would never want to imagine being a family member or a relative of somebody who was murdered, you know, at the hands of someone else. But again, these aren't like, they're just not getting out like after 5 years. They've been in there for
Right.
50, you know, they've been in there for 40 years. So
Yeah.
I think that there's a huge difference in the time lapse, you know. I mean, yes, your loved one has been taken and there's been a negative effect on your life and everyone around you and your families or friends or whoever. But like you were saying, let the, you know, they're sentenced when they were children. It's not like they were 30 years old and they committed this crime and now they're asking to get out at 45. And no, they're they were kids. So
but you know,
I think with the juvenile, I think that's definitely a resentencing should be given.
Yeah, but there's, you know,
different.
The other thing is, you know, if you are not able to forgive, then you've basically allowed yourself to be destroyed as well.
Oh, absolutely. Forgiveness is definitely huge. I'm not one of those people who say, oh, nobody should, you know, I think if you do a crime, you should do time. I don't believe though in over sentencing, or, you know, you have people serving life for drug convictions and then you have rapists who are getting out in 6 years who have raped 10 little kids, right? I think that but you have somebody who sold drugs to feed their family and why they did it, and they lived in poverty and they could, you know, to get ahead, and they were doing it to make money because, you know, whatever reasons. And these people are getting 25, 35 years. It's like, it's not right.
One example of what you're saying is that guy that drove his car into that crowd in Wisconsin.
Oh,
that guy had a really, really terrible criminal record.
But he didn't know that. But Rittenhouse didn't know that.
No, not Rittenhouse.
The rapper that ran those people down.
Oh, that happened this past week for the parade.
Enrique?
The rapper that ran those people down during the parade, right?
Yeah.
Is that what we're speaking of?
Yes.
I don't know what his name was, but I read the history. He had a really violent history, and I don't know how he was not in jail.
Right. I see. I didn't read that. I just saw that he.
Yeah, he was a really dangerous person.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. He was a local rapper in that area.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a rapper. Yeah. So there, yep.
Well, you know, and you say that about the history. You know, as we were speaking about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial and how he got off for murdering people. You know, I'm so tired of hearing other people's people who are for the verdict and think that it was okay that he received nothing. Saying, oh, well, the guy he shot, that he killed, he was a pedophile, or he had a felon background. That very well may be, but Rittenhouse didn't know these things. He went there.
Even if he knew it, how does he?
How is he? He's not judge, jury, military, police. Yeah. He's none of those things. He's a child. I personally feel his mother should be held accountable, and I agree. I feel that the mother should have been charged. I feel she set her son up for failure. I feel that she endangered his life. She bred him to be what he is, and if anything, she is a monster that needed to be charged. It just absolutely disgusts me to think that not only did he get off with this, but the mother, nothing, absolutely nothing. Yeah. And again, if it was a brown or a black person, he wouldn't even have got a trial. He would have been killed.
Yeah.
Well, Elena, I know we'll let you get back. I know it's it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. I really appreciate you coming on, talking to us about different topics in the city of Detroit.
Yes.
But definitely happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Appreciate you tuning in and jumping on and chopping it up with us. So
yes.
I appreciate
it. Thank you.
Guys, you have a safe holiday, safe.
Okay, you too.
Thank you
Yes.
so
God
much for
bless you.
joining us
Yes,
this
have a blessed
evening.
holiday.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Happy
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Please come back and join us again. We love
I
speaking
would love
with you.
to. Okay. All right.
We'd
Thank
like
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure there's much more.
I know. I'm like, I know she's going to have so much
We
more.
could
So
do a
please
10
come
hour,
back and share it with
24-hour
us.
podcast on stuff that you know.
All right.
So thank you once again.
Thank you. All
I
right.
appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe.
Same to your mom and dad too.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So
Ooh, she gave a lot to chew on, boy.
yeah.
That's a whole lot to digest. She spilled all that tea. I love it.
we got banned immediately
Today?
on one of the groups. I don't know what we said.
Again?
We didn't say
Hey,
Are
anything.
you
man,
talking about
I don't
this?
know
Are we
what we're
talking about
doing,
today or are we talking about last week?
But you're killing my wrestling podcast because we can't even. There goes that show now.
No, you
It's Alex, it's because we're so juicy and we'd be
Jesus
spilling that
Christ.
tea and people can't handle the truth.
you could like. I was talking to Alex off air, and I
Getting
was
tired of Facebook Live. Getting tired of the rules and regulations.
you can on
Ain't got to be live.
on StreamYard, you only can log into one Facebook profile. So I told Alex or my brother or we can log into your
We're gonna
profile,
forget.
Alex's profile. But for whatever reason, I didn't say anything. She didn't say anything. I think it's somebody that's just reporting us. I got to be honest with you.
Probably is.
Yeah, so-
I thought about
so-
someone said that to me last week when we got blocked for the what we thought was Tamales could have been Rittenhouse, but I rewatched the show. We didn't speak about him until after. And so a friend of mine said, I think someone keeps reporting you guys.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Haters.
And that's why I
Don't be a
remove
fucking
people.
hater.
That's why I remove people, and I was going to suspend somebody from our page,
Do it.
but I didn't. I was like, if I see it again,
Listen, if you feel you need to, pull that trigger, Alex.
This
I don't know
is
what they're doing.
the
Ain't
group.
hurt nobody's feelings.
I look and I pay attention to all that shit. So
Mhm.
that's why I don't like anybody just posting stuff on our page.
So
Yeah.
And so on the groups, let me tell you. So the groups, the one that I'm an admin, I grew up in Southwest Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
16,000.
I don't follow
I
none
think
of that
there's
shit.
16,000 people in that group. So it could be anybody.
Yeah, that's why I don't deal with none of them groups, man. I know where I grew up.
Oh, I
at. don't need to
forgot
be
we're in
part of
that
a
group too.
Yeah, not me. Don't need to be part of it. I'm
Well,
good. I'm 12th Street.
WOTS, somebody reports, like say somebody says a bad word, not a cuss word, but they say the N word or whatever. If it's hate speech,
It tells you.
yeah. But see,
Yeah, it flags it.
it's not telling me. It just says you violated community
Well, it
standard.
ain't gonna tell you specifically because that's like, I mean, I don't
It
think
should
the
though.
algorithm
I
is
think
that
it
great
should because
just yet.
It should.
I think
It doesn't matter. They're saying something They're saying something they shouldn't say, and it's like,
Well, what
Well,
I was
I think we should be notified what it is so we don't make that mistake again, or like you would think that they would tell you.
You're in that group, Alex, and you say something, I'm responsible for your comment, which
Right.
makes no
Crazy.
sense.
Yeah, and they gave me the option to 12 hours, 24 hours, 1 day, 3 days, a week, a month. Like I was about to just remove his ass because I don't know what he said, and then I went
They
to the
gave
page
you
and seen who it
options?
was. I know that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When you're part of the administration.
Oh
you
yeah,
can
yeah,
remove
yeah. I
people.
forgot.
That's
Yeah,
why
I forgot
certain
that.
stuff I remove it. If I see it, I remove it.
I let you
if
guys
nobody
handle
likes
that,
it,
and
then-
let. I don't
Yeah,
even
I
be
mean,
paying attention to that.
I mean, I care about all the
Let me
way.
get my
110%
crew to do it. I got some guys that'll do
what
that.
we're. Well, me personally,
That's
speaking
why
for
I'm
myself,
trying-
I care about how we're represented.
I'm trying
For all of
Absolutely.
us, so
trying to
that's
get
why I
away-
pay attention to
I'm
all
trying
of
to
that.
get away from Facebook, and people can just go to our YouTube or our particular page and watch the show. Just because Facebook has too many rules and regulations, I can see if we're having hate speeches or we're bullying someone along those lines, but we're not.
Yeah, no, we're not.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And you're checking the audio box or something like that because the couple podcasts I watch, they don't have to deal with none of that shit because they're not going live on Facebook.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out.
Mhm.
I mean,
So we'll move on
I would
to.
love to stop using Facebook, but
Well, I really would too, because I don't understand what the problem is, and they don't specify.
right.
And tell me what
and,
and
right.
fix.
And we're so much more positive than we are negative. So it's like really like
Right.
I don't know. So 3 men guilty on the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. It was today. Jury asked to see the video.
Yes.
911 call during the shooting. Jury was asked to see the evidence. So all 3 were convicted during this trial.
I'm
and
so happy about that.
I was definitely happy to see that they were convicted.
Hmm. Out of 27 charges, only 4 of them didn't stick,
Right.
which is pretty awesome. And I'm very happy for his parents. I know that this is going to ease their mind of their son being able to rest in peace now. They haven't been sentenced yet, but the federal murder carries life in prison without parole as the maximum sentence. So let's hope that happens.
All right. So there's
Yeah.
been
I'm Jim Clark, Director of Quantum.
Hey,
So
Jim Clark, what up, though?
a ration of looting all over this country, especially in California. You got Nostrums that they smashed and grabbed. They got in San Francisco the Louis Vuitton store, the Nordstrom store. So I was talking to Louis. Louis came over. I told Tori. Louis came over. He's down from the Bay Area. He told me that they passed a law recently in California, which I didn't know this. If you get looted or someone comes in and steals a bunch of stuff, they can't stop them. They got to just kind of wave and say, have a good day. So that's why that's happening in California, because they know that people can go into the store, steal whatever, and walk
Snatch
out.
and grab. Yeah, snatch and run.
So
Yeah,
rich people shit.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
That is.
Hilarious.
So Nordstrom, Louis Vuitton. What
Funny
else?
until they started getting killed.
Well, if anyone wants that, held that Louis up that wants to send me a Neverfull bag, I'll send you my info. We'll keep this on the wraps. I won't tell nobody. Kidding, not kidding. Just saying.
So we were just talking about this.
Cereal
And I'd like a duffel and a crossbody. Okay, that's it. Just the three.
So we were just talking about the story about
Alex
the
wants a belt.
rapper. So 5 dead, 40 injured. It's the Wisconsin parade. 5 people killed and 40 people were injured through the Christmas parade in a small town. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's in Wisconsin on Sunday. So he got charged. Let me look here. I think he got. I see it here. Hold on, real quick.
Horrible.
Did they say what the fuck was going on? Like, I know that it doesn't really matter, but sometimes,
Right.
I mean, a lot of
Sometimes
times,
it could.
well, let's say this. A lot of times when there's a mass injury shooting rundown, usually the person doing it ends up dying, right? Or they end up getting killed, or they commit suicide, they kill themselves. So I'm just curious. I mean, this is one of not very many that lived to be charged. So I'm curious if he was like, fuck them all. They said this, he was a local rapper. Did he lose his shit? Like, did he have a motive? What was his motive? I know they don't usually give them, but I'm just
sipping on
curious.
scissor. What the fuck?
Got 5 counts. His name is Darnell Brooks, 39. To believe have the alone Sunday and only suspect.
Bath salt.
So he got 5 accounts of intentional homicide.
He's a local rapper. Did you find his Instagram still up?
I can't even keep up with this shit.
Not right.
And I've been really busy this past week or so. I just see this and I'm just like, oh, I thought they were talking about somebody.
What in the
the shit that happened in
Police
Vegas.
are
I mean,
working on
keep up
investigating
with it.
why this happened. They still have a lot of the downtown historic core closed off this morning as they investigate. We are over by Main Street where the parade route was. We're standing about 3 blocks west of where the red SUV initially hit the first group of people. We can see police markings on the ground, people's belongings still strewn across the street. We're going to show you some video of what happened, but just a warning to our viewers that this can be very disturbing to watch.
A Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin turned deadly after an SUV plowed into the crowd Sunday afternoon.
Oh my God.
There's a car going westbound pushing freight goes on red on escape.
Watch from another angle as the red vehicle speeds down the street, barely missing a child wearing a pink coat.
There were a lot of screams, and we almost thought maybe it was Santa, but it was a red SUV, and it hit a lot of people.
This disturbing video shows the incident from above and the chaos after the car sped into the parade route, mowing down performers and onlookers.
I saw, maybe 3 people.
So,
Wow.
crazy. So sad. Just like Connie said.
So sad.
Prayers out to all those people that were injured, and the 5 that are dead. Especially at a Christmas parade. What the fuck was he thinking? He must have been high out of his mind.
Something.
3 of America's biggest pharmacy chains have been found liable for opium crisis. So CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart are liable for helping to fuel the U.S. opium crisis. They're being
charged?
They're being charged.
Wow.
Yep.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't hand in hand with these doctors, writing the scripts, filling the scripts, making sure it's a scratch your back, scratch mine.
Yep.
Yep.
The
world runs
another slice of the corruption.
The world runs on the pharmaceutical companies and the ones that deal it. They're legalized dealers. So
another not surprising story.
They need to be charged,
Right. So the coward Brian Laundrie died by suicide. They said he shot himself in the head. So they finally
What do you know?
Yeah, they finally. It was
so
gunshot.
that was his. Those were his remains.
That was his remains. Yeah, he shot himself. So he was a coward. He killed her, and he said, "Let me just take my life." So it's called opting out. So he opted out.
Yeah, well, one less mouth that our tax dollars have to feed that didn't deserve to live anyways.
No.
I'd like, we would all like him to be held accountable for his actions, but we were going to pay for him to lay up in his 3 hots and a cot, so fuck him.
I mean, he couldn't have did that, he couldn't just did that shit before he got like I said, I hate, I like to be right on sports when it comes to sports predictions, not on shit like that. But so yeah, I guess I was right. Whatever.
So police.
I didn't think he had the balls enough to do that to himself. But
you know what? I didn't either. I thought he was just going to hide out until he got found.
Right. So police seized over $500 million in illegal marijuana in a raid in Oregon. At the time when legalized marijuana sales are on the rise, National State Police Oregon last week seized 500,000 pounds of illegal marijuana outside of Medford, Oregon. The estimated street value is $500 million.
In Medford?
Yeah, Medford, Oregon.
That's where I had my land at. That's where I used to grow, in Medford. So what I don't like about that is that they call it illegal. Why the fuck is weed illegal? It's a plant. The only reason it's illegal is because they can't make money off of it.
Controlled substance by the government.
Mike.
What are you going to do?
Illegal, my fucking ass.
Illegal.
Fuck out of here. I'm growing all the weed. Fuck it. Don't make no fucking sense.
No.
You know why? Because they can't control how much you grow, and then they want their hands in it, and weed cures a lot of ailments in the body, a lot. From ingesting it to smoking it to putting it in topicals and tinctures and oils. So terrible.
So Dick
terrible.
Vitale had fights back in tears, emotional return, and he didn't want to cry. He's been fighting cancer.
It is a very special night, and it's also the return of the voice of college basketball, Dick Vitale. Thanks so much for being with us, everyone. I'm Dave O'Brien. Sean Farnham with us as well tonight. Dickie, it is so great to see. I know you would not miss us. All of you are aware that Dick is battling cancer. The fact that you've made it out.
I can't watch. He's going to cry. It's so sad.
For a long, long time. It's just awesome. Great to see you.
Great being here, Dad. I didn't want to cry. It's really a big thrill for me. I want to thank all you people. There's been so many messages. ESPN, Jimmy Pataro, all my buddies at ESPN.
Oh, terrible.
My family and all the fans. You've been unbelievable.
You're a sweet man.
I'll be honest with you. When they walked in and told me I had cancer, they thought it was mild lung cancer. And it was really going to be a serious surgery and all. I never dreamt at 82 that I'll ever be on courtside again, but be here today. I'm sorry. I hope I don't.
How dare you apologize?
Don't apologize for
Never
anything.
have to apologize. Kidding me?
Let's get this game going. Talk some basketball.
Sweet buddy. He's such a sweet man. Oh, poor guy.
Legendary Dick Vitale.
He is. He got me wanting not to cry.
No, I'm sorry.
Poor guy.
So
No, that was so sweet.
the Lions. Thanksgiving.
Oh, now you're really gonna make us cry.
The Lions.
We gonna laugh, cry.
They faced
The
the Bears.
I try to tell you.
And the Lions
I
plus
gave
3
you
tomorrow.
two.
What is the score? +3 on the Lions. What's the
Well,
score?
it's kind of hard to say. If Jared Goff plays, I think I'm gonna say that they will win if he plays. But if he doesn't play, then they're gonna lose.
Okay. So Lions Scouts halftime act for Thanksgiving for fans are loving it. You got Big Sean, Detroit Cast Tech, the local act to the donors with Mike Poser in 2018. So they're gonna have a Big Sean as the halftime show. So a lot of people are excited.
That's awesome. I heard 50-50. I heard a lot of people excited, and I heard a lot of people talking shit. Like, oh, you should have got a bigger act. Like, Big Sean is from Detroit. He's the perfect person to be on there, and he's a positive person. And like, really, I don't know. There's always going to be haters. Whatever.
You like that halftime show, Alex? I think that's cool.
I do.
I mean, he's from the city, man. I mean,
yeah,
can't get any bigger than that right now. I mean, that's the highlight of the whole game.
And he loves Detroit, right? He goes hard for Detroit.
That's going to be better than the game. I mean, enjoy that shit. Enjoy what you can.
He goes hard for Detroit. He loves Detroit. He goes out there and he does a lot for the community and the kids.
They must not live in Detroit, but
right. No, there were some people on my timeline that were, talking shit, and then there were some people who spoke
back,
up the side of the mouth. Yeah.
Super Bowl. Relax.
Eat some turkey. Calm the fuck down.
Calm down. So Sunday's game, they call it the Detroit Melee. NBA suspends LeBron for 1 game. Isaiah Stewart for.
Why? What happened?
Here you go. Here's the
right.
Oh God, the 100th time.
Wrong. What anybody says about this.
This is a drink.
I said yesterday that I thought LeBron James should be suspended. The league got it right when LeBron James got suspended. But the reason why I didn't think Isaiah Stewart should be suspended,
hilarious,
because Isaiah Stewart did not come into contact with anybody on the Lakers team. And I understand the reaction might have been, quote unquote, poor example for the league, considering what occurred back in the day in Detroit. But what happened back in the day in Detroit was due to fans interacting with players. This is a separate incident. So you may not have liked the fact that Isaiah Stewart was trying to get to LeBron James Obviously, if you ever gotten bowed in the face during a game, which I have, you kind of go through this experience where you get knocked down and you're angry. You might get up, but when you start seeing blood, there's kind of rage.
There's a reason people say he saw red.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
because you
bleeding. When
literally
I'm
saw
bleeding.
red, yeah.
So you may not have liked the way Isaiah Stewart tried to get at LeBron James, but once again, it was him and his teammates. He was trying to get through his teammates, which he never got through his teammates. So
right, he didn't make physical contact with a coach on the other team, as far as I know, or anything like that. It was all in-house.
Yeah, he ran over his own coaches.
Yeah, whatever that was, I said, LeBron James, if you give him one game, then fine. Isaiah Stewart, give him no games. I just thought it kind of sets the example that LeBron James, hey, you can do what you can do. You can make a ill-advised play. You can make a dirty play, and we're going to reprimand you. But then, hey, this kid reacted the wrong way, even though he didn't come in contact with anybody. And we're going to give him 2-game suspension. I thought it was a missed opportunity by the NBA.
Talking about.
Okay, so before I ask you, Alex, James forfeited $284,000 in salary, while Stewart just $45,000. The first suspension in 19 years of LeBron James, who has won 4 NBA titles in 3 teams. So was this just? Because this guy from ESPN says this was not just. LeBron should have been served. That is his first suspension in 19 years. Is this a just suspense for Stewart? I don't think so. He never got in contact with any LA players. He didn't do anything. Yeah, he tried to get through them, but he didn't. Should he got suspended for 2 games? Or you think the NBA was just trying to make a point? Hey, once again, Detroit is put a black eye on NBA basketball, so we're going to suspend Stewart for 2 games. What's your thoughts?
No, I think they hit it right on the head.
So you think Stewart should
it's
have
fine?
2 games?
Yeah, I mean
I disagree.
He ran down. Look, first of all, let me say, why after watching LeBron James from day one in high school, I don't give a shit what anybody says. I don't care if I live in Detroit or not. I'm a diehard Piston fan. He's not a dirty player. First of all, he's never done nothing like that in his career. He might be a crybaby, a flopper, or this or that, but he is not a dirty player. He doesn't need to be a dirty player. He's one of the greatest of all time.
Okay.
Yes. And when you're in the box like that, yes, I mean, I'm not acting like I played in the NBA, but when you're in the box like that and you're trying to get your balance, your stance, hold your position, like he would have got knocked down if he didn't swing his arm. And yes, maybe he did it. I mean, he knew what he was doing. He swung his arm. It was a bad thing, you know what I mean? But at the same time, Isaiah Stewart mowed down his own fucking players and coaches, man. He could have hurt his own players, his own coaches, one of his own teammates, Cade Cunningham, one of the first people to grab him, your first round pick. So he acted like he like, once again, your adrenaline's pumping. So I'm not, you know what I mean? I haven't been in that position, but I can imagine when you see blood and you get hit and it's by LeBron James, that's the big difference than hitting by a bench player or some shit. It just is, whether you admit it or not. But he acted unprofessional. And like I said, he could have hurt his own players, his own coaches. That was out of hand. That's ridiculous, man. And like I said, LeBron James not a dirty player. So, I mean, they got what they got, man. I look at it like this. When teams come to play us at LC Arena, we're not going to take no shit. And that's all he did. He stood up for himself, man. So he shouldn't have acted in that profession. But like I said, I'm not him. When you see blood, I guess, you know, and yeah, you will. As a man, you will act in a different way. I've had my shit split a couple times. So, you know what I mean? I didn't have a chance to fight back. So, and I wasn't on the court. But, I mean, it is what it is, man. I think they're going to see each other. They're going to see each other again this Sunday, ain't they? In LA?
Yeah, I see your point. I think maybe he should have been fined, but I don't think he should have been suspended.
I don't know. I just, like I said, all I take from it is the fact that, like I said, when opponents come to play us, they know we're not going to be no pushover or nothing like that. It ain't that bad boy era shit is gone. It's over with. Get over that. So ain't nobody doing, you know what I mean? Like I said, he flipped out. He tried to stick up for himself. It was a dirty ass play. LeBron James knew what he did, and the fact that he's standing there talking all normal and shit, like I'm, explaining himself. That I'm sure that had to make him even more irritated, man. That he's just, you know what I mean? Like, but it is what it is. Hey, it is what it is, man. So I
think it's more of it. I think it's more of a Detroit thing. They try to make a point. That's how I feel.
Hey, you know what? Whatever. Then we'll just, that's what they want to see, man. I mean, Detroit ain't gonna change, so it doesn't matter. You don't come to Detroit and do no shit like that, or even in the Palace and all that. It's just not gonna happen. This is who we are, so we're not gonna take no shit, man. So when you're on a Detroit team representing the Pistons,
I get that.
We are who we are.
I didn't think the NBA was unfair
to be like.
I think that was unfair that the NBA suspended him for 2 games.
I mean, I don't. Like I said, I mean, he shouldn't do nothing like that. Like I said, he could have hurt his own players, man. He damn near ran over his own coaches, bro. Even going to the locker room, he almost knocked the guy to the damn wall. Like, I mean, those are big guys, man. LeBron James, like 6'9", 260 pounds or whatever he is. You know what I mean? Isaiah Stewart, 6'7", 6 whatever. Like, those are some big men. So, I mean, he plowed over those guys, bro. Like, and not trying to be funny, like that car in one of them damn videos. Nobody could stop him. He could have hurt a lot of other people, man. He didn't, but if he would have, it would have been a whole different story. So, I don't know.
Okay,
that was pretty crazy though. I mean, and then you got to bring up the malice at the Palace. Like, oh my god, like that shit just kills me, man. Like, why would you even bring that up? Why? Like, I get it. You're not at the Palace though. This ain't Auburn Hills. This is Detroit. Like, they always got to go
comparing
back.
it. Why do you got to go back?
Shit, start trying to get.
Why you got to bring up old shit?
Exactly. Like, so annoying. So annoying to me. Like, leave that shit alone.
So Japanese fans celebrate Los Angeles showing a tie. Ohtani being the name. I think it's pretty just. I mean, Japanese
baseball, man, this year.
They're pretty crazy about it. I remember even in the NBA, Yao Ming, they're like gods over there when
they appreciate their players, their people.
So that's great. They were passing out newspapers.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. You know how I am with the newspapers. Like, man, if I could have one of those, oh my God, that'd be dope.
So congratulations to Ohtani becoming the first Japanese NBA MVP.
That's cool.
So this is I know Alex wanted to add this at the end. WWE wrestler attacked during live broadcast. I didn't watch. I don't watch it, but Alex, I know he said he watched it. But let me bring this on the screen. Let me get to the commercial. You were saying something about it. It was a cat. It was a catfish. What I didn't understand that part.
I have no idea what's going on in that story. The guy's a nutbag. I'll just leave it at that. Crazy. Okay. Pretty sure he needs help.
But I got to be honest with you. For watching past wrestling, anytime a fan jumps in, the wrestler pretty much smacks them up. You know what I mean?
But the wrestler usually weighs over 200 pounds and is like sick. He's not that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you do that to like Goldberg or somebody. You're like Macho Man, all that. When that guy went in the ring, I mean, they about stomped his head off his shoulders. So. What the story was behind that, but it's insane, man.
He came in hot as fuck.
He like fucking speared him.
Yeah, he was coming in hot, real hot.
And still barely did anything to him.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
It had to be a little bit of a shock. He probably when that happened in his head, he was probably like, "What the fuck? We didn't practice this."
Well, the guy was sitting first row. First of all, he bought a ticket to sit like first row. So then
premeditated.
I don't know. That story is pretty crazy. I don't understand it. it's pretty nuts. But either way, you know, thank God he's all right. I mean, shit like that happens, man. I mean,
Yeah, crazy
stabbed,
fan. You don't know. He could have got stabbed. Anything.
He just had a child, so he's a father now. So that's pretty terrifying. So
right, and you have to, you know, like, okay, I know there's fans, and I'm a fan. You're a fan. Like, they're super fans, right? But you have to be smart enough to decipher the character and the person he is. He's a father. He's a family man. Like, this is his job. He plays a character. Yes, it's him, but this isn't who he is every day. He doesn't go around fucking body slamming people on the regular street. Like, calm down. What are you so fucking mad about?
His stock just went up, so so it's all good.
You can hate him. You can charge him. You can run at him, but guess what? He still got paid every time. So thank you.
That's
he all the way to the bank with that check.
For sure.
So the last part of the show, I'm pretty much done. All the stories are done. I know Thanksgiving is tomorrow, but I wanted to bring this up and ask you, Alex, and Tori, especially during this time, holidays are coming up. So I wanted to ask you, Alex and Tori, what are you thankful for?
You want me to go first, Tori, or you want to go ladies first?
Go ahead.
All
right. Well, since we talked about the Isaiah Stewart, this was something that popped in my head, and I was like, let me just knock down 3 things in a possible 60 seconds. So first and foremost, I'm thankful for everyone that has showed us support from day one on the show, whether you're just liking it, subscribing, sharing, buying merch. Obviously, I'm thankful for my hosts. You guys are great, and you know, shining stars. Love you guys. Love all of our fans, our supporters. Like I said, from day one. And I was going to be thankful for Isaiah Stewart putting LeBron James in his place, even though he was a little unprofessional. But I'm going to say I am thankful for AJ Hinch being the Tigers coach, and we just made a big splash in the first big splash in Major League Baseball with signing I keep wanting to say Eduardo, but I'll just call him Erod. So Eduardo Rodriguez, big deal, and hopefully the Tigers' future is looking a little bit brighter. And last but not least, I am truly, truly blessed and thankful that I don't have to watch 68 plus hours of Detroit Lions football because I already know what they were going to be. And I can use that time on spending it with my daughters or with my family and friends that I love, or just watching paint dry, or relacing my shoes or just anything, trimming the rug evenly, all of that good stuff. So that's what I'm thankful for.
Sorry.
So I'm grateful and I'm thankful for a lot, but the past year has been very trying on me with the passing of my son, and a lot, COVID and all the things that came along with it. And I've been reading my face, your memories pop up and they really humble you. So Thanksgiving was the last holiday that I got to spend with my son, and it was actually a really great holiday. And I thought back to the past Thanksgiving holidays, and most of them were spent in the hospital. They were spent with, Dom and I eating turkey in a cafeteria, and Zach, fighting for his life. And so I'm just grateful for life. And I came across a past post, and I just thought it was kind of fitting. And so I'll just read it real quick. And it said, just when you think back of the dark mindset and hurting place that you once were prior to years past, and this last year, even though it was a hard time to bear, my eyes fill up with tears of gratitude several times today. It's extremely humbling, and I'm so appreciative for every day of life here on earth. I give thanks and praise to God for keeping me strong, my son Dominic strong, and all those, especially Zach strong during his time here on earth, keeping us determined, focused, and as we tackle each hurdle that comes along with each day. I'm so very thankful for all of you as well. You guys are amazing, and all of our fans. And hope everyone has a beautiful, happy, and blessed Thanksgiving filled with an abundance of gratitude. Love with purpose, give thanks every day, and always live gratefully.
Wow. That was beautiful. Yes.
So, and I wrote that. I wrote that
beautiful.
in a past Thanksgiving, and when I read it, I just thought, my mantra has always been, I always hashtag it. You can see it on a lot of things. Always live gratefully and come from a place of gratitude, not just on Thanksgiving, but every day. Be appreciative for everything and everyone and all of the things around you and the things that happen. You may feel like they're happening to you, but they may be happening for you. And I want to say thank you to all of our fans, and thank you to you guys. You two have been the two bestest friends that a girl could have, not just co-hosts, but you guys are really awesome, super supportive, and I love you both. And it's been a great year with friends like you and all of our support. And
same here.
And I'm really appreciative for all of you.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say, like, I know I had the three things and I wanted to be thankful for, and I would, trying to be entertaining, but yes, definitely, and it's Thanksgiving is it's a little bit harder for me, because I'm used to watching the game with my father and stuff like that. I'm just, and it's been a couple years, so. But and I know he's with me in spirit. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I know Zach is with you guys. And
I'm so grateful that last Thanksgiving was it was really a great memory, and it wasn't spent in the hospital. My parents were here, and he got, he got to have a mini Christmas with them. And so, I was looking at the pictures and just looking back and reading my posts, and really, really just, always live gratefully.
Yeah. For sure. Yep. I mean, and I'm thankful for who I have around me now. I'm thankful that my mother is still here, and I can give her that extra love, that
tomorrow's never promised.
Yeah, for sure. So
how about you, Drake? What are you thankful for?
What you got?
I am thankful for, first of all, for you guys, the fans and everything. It's been a great year and a half or however long we've been doing it. Also thankful for Steve Jobs. He created a 1 terabyte.
I don't care what they say about him.
I don't care what they say about him. His 1 terabyte is sexy.
Yeah, 1 terabyte in my pocket is.
No, that's talking dirty to you, huh? Tell me about your 1 terabyte, Steve.
Yeah, 1 terabyte. Tori has an Android, and she was trying to copy from one Android to Android, right? She had not enough space, but guess what? I have 1 terabyte.
He's making fun of me. I'm like, why the fuck can I transfer?
They're fighting each other.
You don't have enough space. I'm like, well, can I just delete some stuff? He's like, that's a maternity. I was like, I gotta delete all my apps to transfer this.
Right.
Stupid.
So
he's like, yeah. I said, you know what? I feel attacked by you Apple people. This is fucked up.
Oh my God. Right. So look, I don't know. I don't want to cut you off, Drake. I don't know if you're done, but I got one more thing. Go ahead.
No, just thankful for family, friends. Thankful for new relationships, all that. Thankful for my parents. They're still kicking. Thankful for my mom's dry turkey tomorrow.
Oh my God.
That's and thankful for her gravy. Is there going to be gravy?
Gravy.
You got to put gravy on the turkey.
Thankful.
It's not dry. It's wet.
Hot sauce on that burrito.
Thankful thankful for that I got over COVID in 2020. Thankful for the vaccines. And that's pretty much it. Just make sure you guys, like she said, tomorrow's never promised. Make sure you reach out to, we tell people all the time, make sure you reach out to your loved ones, family, and friends. Check on them if you haven't heard from somebody. Check on them.
I don't want to backtrack. I hate to cut you off, but I had to ask this question. So a friend of mine wanted me to ask, since you're the female on here and get a woman's perspective. So and I know we should have talked, and we'll leave off on it.
It's okay. I like shit on the fly.
So and we kind of touched on this before. So the question is, if a female is not taking care of her feet, cleaning in between her toes, just taking care of her feet, what else is she not taking care of?
Her vagina. Her vagina. And if she doesn't drink water, her pH levels are off. Her vagina stinks. She has stank vagina. She has stank vagina, stank cooch.
Can you take that peanut butter from her toes and put a peanut butter gel there?
Oh my
You
God.
asked. I am grateful for water. So who ain't cleaning their feet? First of all, how do you know how does another female know if this female's feet are stained?
Well,
like
it
what's
came
going
up
on?
because we were talking about her getting her nails done, and it just started, you know.
You mean like who doesn't keep up like pedicures
and we
and
started
stuff?
joking around, talking about like you know, like we did on the show before. We talked about like what's the first thing you see when you look at a girl or whatever, like, and you know, the dirty shoes, or it's like
their hands.
You know
usually
what I mean?
their
So
nails,
like,
their hands and feet. People usually look at.
So that's kind of what we're in the world that we was in talking about. So and she had worked as a waitress in bars and stuff, and I was like, well, Tori has too. So that's where that came up, and I was like, okay, so like
I remember I was telling you
so
as a bartender, when I would be at the strip club and the females would come up to the bar and they would order a cocktail, and there was some of them that never ordered water, like ever. And you just knew, like, this bitch is here for 10 hours. She's dancing. She's on her feet. She's doing it, and she's just drinking vodka nonstop. Like, I know you ain't hitting no bottle of water in the back because you're hitting other things in the back, right?
Right.
So so I would put a bottle of water up with them, and they'd be like, I didn't order water. I'm like, honey, I'm gonna need you to drink this water.
Right.
But there was some that didn't, and their pH is off. It is what it is. It's science. That's your
That's
body.
why I wanted to bring it up.
So
to you,
if you're not cleaning, don't ever trust a bitch with chippy nails. Now, if there's a female who works hard, right? Maybe she works in a factory or whatever.
Right.
I'm not knocking that, because don't come for me in the comments. I already know y'all about to be like, oh, my nails be chipped because I work hard. My kids eat before I get my nails done. Baby girl, I get it. Okay, your kids eat.
You work hard yourself, you know. It's not like you never broke a nail.
Okay,
okay. I don't want to speak
nails
for you,
still
but
done.
I'm assuming because I know I can.
But take that chippy nail polish off your nails. Why you got it all chipped up like that? Just take it off. Don't have it all. It just doesn't look very clean. It's not lazy. Like, it's the hygienic. Like, it's ew. It looks dirty. And instantly your toes look like that. You're probably not shaving. You're probably not moisturizing. You're not drinking the water. You're not cleaning the lady bit. I don't know. How about that? Did you just spray the air? Was that an air freshener?
No, I said you said I
thought you just like air freshened the air.
No, like
you were like,
thank
you, Jesus, for this air freshener. I'm giving thanks. And there's nothing. Maybe you can't, let me rephrase. Maybe you can't afford certain things, right? But self-care, there's some stuff at the dollar store you can get for some self-care. You can get a little nail file.
We didn't bring that up, but tree is no longer $1.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, they just had that story in. It's no longer $1.
Who took my Dollar Tree away?
The $1.01.
It's $1.25.
It's $1.25.
Yeah.
You shut up. You lying.
Yeah, no, it was a story.
No, all the stuff is $1.25.
You just pissed her off. She's furious. No.
Wait, what? Okay, I know I'm over here tripping about a quarter on an item, but still. Okay, that's a whole nother topic. I need a moment to digest that.
To wrap this up, I got to get going.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Y'all done ruined my whole vibe with that one.
I gotta.
Wait, what?
Drink water.
Like, get your nails done. Wait a second.
Go to Dollar Tree, get your water.
I gotta cook for tomorrow, so.
Hell no.
Now that's
I know
funny.
You're lying.
I gotta cook for tomorrow, though. I got some things I gotta do.
So that's pretty much all I got. You can follow me everywhere at Drink Swift on all platforms. How about you, Alex?
Hold on, let me take a drink of water. Go ahead, Tori.
Take a drink of your
I
air
gotta get my
freshener.
pH level. I gotta get my
Get your pH
level
right, Alex. You can, while Alex is getting his pH right, you can follow me, Tori Rochelle, on Facebook, at All Beauty All Beast on Instagram, The Savage Kitty, that's THEE Savage Kitty on Twitter, and Tori Smooches on Snapchat.
Alex?
You good, Alex?
You can follow me
You got
at
them levels right?
You can follow me at Water PH or H2O. No, I'm just playing. You can follow me right there as it says SportsMod313 on the Twitter and the Instagram. And yep, everybody I'll be reaching out to you guys.
Yes, have a happy, blessed, and
sure.
safe Thanksgiving.
We can say it all together.
Live gratefully.
Say it all together. 1, 2, 3. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, let me play this video. And we can get out of here.
Don't be a jive ass turkey.
Jive ass. Like I always say, make sure you guys are washing your hands, wearing a mask, and always washing your ass. I'm out. Happy y'all.
Washing the parts.
Yeah, all right. Bye.
Wash the turkey.